In today's society, we decorate our bedrooms with posters of our favorite singer or athlete, but imagine walking into a friend's bedroom only to be met with elaborate serpents painted directly onto the wall. Surely this friend would be at risk of losing their security deposit, if not being evicted altogether. For the residents of the ancient urban center of Teotihuacan, however, this mural would have made them feel right at home. It is the abstraction, impersonality, standardization, and idealization seen in this mural that characterizes the pictorial art of Teotihuacan. This meandering and menacing motif once covered the walls of a residential compound in Teotihuacan. That is, until it was ripped from its walls, packed in a box, and illegally transported out of Mexico. The fragments comprising the looted mural known as Feathered Serpent Flowering Trees are currently at the Dijon Museum in San Francisco, along with over 70 other Teotihuacan mural fragments. Yet how they got there is still mind-boggling. On an ordinary summer day, the museum received a phone call claiming a man had just gifted a collection of artworks through his will. Although the museum had never heard of this man, Harold Wagner, representatives of the museum visited his estate only to be astonished with what they saw. Mural fragments everywhere, in the kitchen and the living room, framed on the wall, in crates scattered around the floor, and a homemade altar. The museum would come to learn that Wagner was a painter, real estate tycoon, and collector who frequently visited Mexico to gain inspiration from ancient Mesoamerican art. Whether he only made the purchases or actually looted the fragments himself is a mystery, but records show the fragments' shipping dates. Other documents offer reasons to explain Wagner's gift to the San Francisco Museum. Wagner loved his city, and even though no museum wanted to take part in his illicit collecting, Wagner decided that through his death, someone would have to care for the mural fragments. In his will, Wagner desired that the fragments be gifted to the Dijon Museum. However, once it became clear the mural pieces were part of Mexico's cultural heritage, the first legal battle of its type ensued. Mexico wanted all fragments returned. San Francisco hoped to keep some, so a deal was made to share the fragments. When fragments from the looted mural were placed in the hands of the museum, the first objective was to reconstruct them. Serpent 1 actually had to be put together by a coalition of art historians and archaeologists: Kathleen Barron, Clara Millen, Renee Millen, Esther Pastore, and Thomas Seligman. This task was made more difficult once the scholars realized that there were not one, but 4 feathered serpents with tons of flowering trees. Serpent 1 just happens to be the most complete of the 4. Once constructed, the experts realized that the murals exhibited characteristic Teotihuacan imagery. While there is still no definitive understanding of the mural's meaning, there are 2 generally accepted hypotheses. The first is that the mural pays homage to Quetzalcoatl, or the feathered serpent, who in the work demands attention and is fluidly pouring out a stream of water onto the flowering trees, which have been identified as plants with medicinal or ritual uses known about by the Teotihuacan people. While the flowering trees might look similar to one another, the plants serve as pictographs. For example, the 3 Maguey Pencas glyph does not look like the actual plant, with the exception of the flowers, but was responsible for the production of the ceremonial drink pulque, and was a tool for bloodletting, using the spines. So even if foreigners did not understand the Aztec writing system, the imagery and homage being paid to Quetzalcoatl was still clear. A second theory is that each flowering tree represents a genealogy or bloodline of a family. Similarly, in the Mixtec codices, groups of trees signal a different family line. In a related theory, each flowering tree could signal a location or toponym, for example, place of the yellow marigold. All theories share the idea that there is a connection between terrestrial and celestial elements of cosmology, with Quetzalcoatl and trees in direct union with each other. So perhaps all of these theories are correct. It is the possibility of multiple readings that make feathered serpent flowering trees so complex despite its seemingly simple imagery and straightforward composition. We may never know the precise meaning or provenience of this mural, but that does not detract from its dynamism, nor does it mean that the complex in the mural within it is not deserving of its own. MTV Cribs Teotihuacan.